Our story is about exceptional individuals who have used their skills. Mark, our main character, is also awakened and is attempting to make as much progress as possible. Because they must battle hazardous monsters, these unique individuals have a difficult time. Out of the netherworld, these evil beings have come to slaughter and obliterate everyone in their path. Stopping the enemy invasion and saving humanity will only be possible with the aid of extraordinary talents. Mark looks incredibly confident now, but he only had an awakening less than a year ago. He was then an ordinary construction company worker, having accomplished nothing at the age of 27. He had to take this job to save his own father. Joseph has contracted an incurable immunodeficiency disease and now requires expensive treatment. This disease appeared 20 years ago when the gates to the abyss opened. People began to awaken and gain magical powers, but it didn't affect everyone. The gateway to the netherworld also had negative consequences. Not brought into a world of horrible monsters who want to take over everything around them and impose control over humans. The awakened players had to stop the monsters and try to save humanity. Killing monsters provided an opportunity to make a lot of money, and it became like a business. Everyone associated with the player's sphere of activity immediately became superstars. For Mark, this situation has turned into a curse, for his father has become seriously ill. For healing, he needs to collect a core of monsters, and all of that costs mad money. Under the weight of circumstances, the mother named Sandra had to take 2 jobs at the same time. Helen's older sister gave away all her money she was saving for the wedding, but even that wasn't enough. Mark was also pursuing several earning opportunities, but money was still tight. He had always dreamed of becoming awakened and discovering all the hidden talents within himself. It would give the opportunity to gain incredible power and capabilities. Not only would he develop cliffs with his bare hands, but he would also jump over high rises with ease. Mark was often immersed in dreams, but realized that becoming enlightened was a kind of lottery. He was sure that such a chance falls only to the lucky, but one night, it happened to him. He saw the status window in front of him and recognized that he was now officially an awakened. The problem was that he got too weak of a characterization, and he was clearly unlucky. Compared to other players, he is much weaker, but there is a way to fix that. Hard training will help him make progress, and only then will he equal the rest of the awakened. The most talented always have tons of opportunities and great earnings. He too wants to attain such privileges in order to help his father beat a deadly disease. Within the system, each player receives points, the amount of which gives the opportunity to buy various items. Also, the number of points affects the characteristics and increases the strengths. Mark bought a power crystal in order to pump up his skills a bit. In just a few seconds already, he immediately felt an increase in his physical capabilities. He decided to buy a huge amount of power crystals so he could become Superman right away. Back then, our protagonist didn't yet realize that you can't spend points recklessly. This has the effect of shortening the player's life and making them older. The next day, Mark came to get his awakened player's license. It was immediately explained to him that it would be difficult to do this as he was incredibly old. Just yesterday, he was a young guy with great looks, but now he looks like a feeble-minded old man. Back home, he guessed what had happened and figured out how to fix it. You need to sell some items, regain lost points, and automatically become younger. Ordinary human items can come in handy for creatures from the abyss. They often log on to acquire something new and brighten their drab existence. These creatures are incredibly mysterious, but they are very fond of human technology. There are no smartphones or game consoles in their world, so they are willing to pay any money for it. Thus, Mark regained his lost points and transformed back into a young handsome man. He wanted to sell other people's items, but the system warned that it was impossible. All this time, Mark had forgotten all about work, and now he was penniless. He needs to feed himself as well as help his family, so you can't cut yourself off from the real world. He went to the construction site to earn some money again and to prolong his miserable existence. Our protagonist has turned into an awakened player, but so far, he's not getting what he dreamed of. He soon figured out that he should earn points not by selling merchandise, but by his own accomplishments. He needs to turn into a professional hunter and go on a serious raid. In order to get a player's license, you must first complete 3 weeks of training. Each player must pass an exam to validate their skills and abilities. After getting your license, your journey is just beginning and all the hardest things are ahead. Mark was able to pass the exam on the first try and was more talented than expected. Even made new friends, although previously, he had always spent time alone. They've called him to celebrate his successful passing of the exam, but Mark has more important things to do. The next day, he went again to the central office of the players in the city. There, he was given the opportunity to get his license, and now his childhood dream has finally come true. Now he can go hunting and try to make a living killing monsters. First, you need to spend your last savings on ammunition and weapons. All his money was only enough to buy the most basic items. Mark wasn't upset because he realized that in the future, he could afford anything. He went to a place where all the players were gathering and preparing for future raids. There, you can constantly meet people who are looking for new team members or offer cooperation. Mark found a starting rank dungeon and realized it was the perfect opportunity to test his strength. His skills have improved through training, but he still doesn't want to work in a team. To begin with, you need to see your progress on your own and try to catch the boss on your own. He really surprised the guards, who rarely meet people brave enough to go on a raid on their own. Usually, players work in pairs, and even the strongest of players like to take support with them. Everyone realizes that in a dungeon, you can become disabled or die, so no one takes risks. However, Mark didn't pay much attention to it and decided to delve into the process on his own. From the beginning, he saw the dangerous rabbits that dominate this dungeon. This is where you can see the newcomers to the sweep. Their lack of experience is evident from the first seconds of the battle. Just a few days ago, they were ordinary students, and already today, they are fighting against monsters and risking their lives. Few of them will make it out of here alive. But since they are here, they must do their best to succeed. The team from important newcomers battled the rabbit for 10 minutes. If after much agony, they destroyed this dangerous beast, though they lost some crew members. Mark turned on invisible mode and retreated into the shadows in order to continue observing and studying the situation. The guild commander of the Sol Guild named Suhi and her assistant Lisa can be found here. They've been trying to clean up the place for a while now and have been looking for the main boss rabbit for over 10 days now. Although this boss is not considered a dangerous monster, but all this time, he manages to hide from players. A little while later, they saw a lone player walking into the dungeon with no support at all. He had a badge on his uniform, and it was clear that he was renting equipment and was a rookie. He was heading towards a lone rabbit who was completely oblivious to the potential danger. The girls were frightened for they were sure that the boss would tear the lone player apart. Mark mustered up the courage to kill the monster. It was his first kill, and it would be remembered for the rest of his life. Thanks to the stealth mode, Mark remained calm and could easily take out opponents. Suhi was sure he was a newcomer, but then something strange happened, and she changed her mind. This is called the rule of 20 levels, and the entire earning system is based on this rule. If you defeat a weak opponent, you earn little. But if you defeat a strong opponent, you become very rich. The magic in corpses turns into valuable items, but the higher your level, the lower the earnings. When the level difference reaches 20 steps, then the player gets nothing at all. Mark got nothing at all, and thus Suki realized that he wasn't a rookie at all. The girls continued to observe, but still couldn't figure out the class of this warrior. Soon, Mark destroyed the stronger rabbits and got his first soul course. He was frustrated that his level wasn't rising, but still kept active. After half a day, he had already cleared most of the dungeon, but he still hadn't increased his player level. All that's left is to constantly try to hone your skills and hope for the best. Mark has made unprecedented progress in that time and now destroys rabbits as if he were the chef of a famous restaurant. Soon, he received his first awards and finally felt that his work had not been in vain. So he still continued to watch him and had been interested in this guy for a while now. He kills horny rabbits with one punch, and it's a completely unfortunate coincidence. With one swing of his sword, he leaves huge monsters headless, and that deserves respect. Soon she decided to walk up to him and talk to him, because every team needs such a shot. Seeing the elite equipment, Mark guessed that the players in front of him were high-level players. Soon, Suhi revealed that she was a member of the Soul Guild, a guild that almost every player in Korea had heard of. For Mark, the name is also familiar as it is a guild sponsored by a huge corporation. Suhi can help him settle into this guild if he reveals his status and level. The problem is that he is only at level 1, but has good characteristics that help him win. It's embarrassing to talk about, so Mark said he wasn't interested in cooperating and left. Such boorish behavior the girls have never met before because everyone dreams of entering Saul's guild. Lastly, Suki caught up with the guy and gave him her card in case he changed his mind. It was obvious that the girl was interested in him, but she didn't know how to find the right approach to him. After clearing the dungeon, Mark returned to the real world and breathed in a breath of fresh air. You have to be careful, because there are too many strong players around, and it's best not to run into trouble. Mark hailed a cab and prepared for a long journey, for there is always a long distance between dungeons. After clearing the Horned Rabbit dungeon, he prepared for a trip to the Blood Fox dungeon. Many hunters were also gathered there, finalizing their team kits and entering the dungeon. It's easy to find a good offer here, but Mark once again chooses the loner's path. He entered the dungeon and saw the newcomers hunting bloody in the forest. Seeing that the guards were asleep, he decided to re-enable stealth mode and do everything without anyone noticing. Mark acted much more convincing and confident this time around. It was evident that his skills had increased as well as his sense of distance and physical performance. Now he gets a lot more points for each kill and therefore gets richer and stronger. The sweep didn't take long, but it added an impressive amount of points. Hey everyone! If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite part, and of course, hit that subscribe button to join the family. Let's hit our target of 200 likes, I know we can do it. Let's get this video trending and share the fun. Thanks for all the support, you guys are the best.